Welcome to the March 2nd, 2021 episode of Reactive Consciousness, the in-depth podcast about what happened this week in our lives. We did not have a leap year. I am your host, vysethebold, and this is...
Lotus Prince.
And we got a lot of news, a lot of it kind of bad this week. Some of it really bad.
Yeah.
Not a big fan of it. The first thing is, of course, right after we record, the day after, in the morning.
Yeah, seconds later, yeah.
And we're going to comment on this with an entire corrective, but this is big news for people of a certain age and fans of electronic music. But Daft Punk has officially broken up, which is really, really a big blow. They were more active than you thought they were. They made a lot of contributions to and collaborations.
That was what I was gonna mention. I saw a pretty funny shitpost on Twitter about it, where it was something like R.I.P. Daft Punk, nearly 30 years of music, nearly 3 albums.
First of all,
that's
they
technically
made
not true.
4 albums, all with a remix album, except for one of them. Random Access Memories, their last one, did not have a remix album. So, 4 of their albums had a remix album.
Yeah, and one of them had a full-on movie for a music video for the entire
I was going to say
album.
a 5th album can be counted as a soundtrack album, and they just got an extended release. And they contributed heavily to Kanye West's Yeezus, 4 tracks on that, which is a large portion of tracks on an album, and 2 tracks for The Weeknd recently in the last 3 or 4 years. So
1 track for that one fight scene in Iron Man 2.
But yeah, they also heavily contributed to DJ Hero, which a lot of people don't remember. So yeah, they have a lot under their belt, and 2 movies.
Tron Legacy, and what's the other one?
No, Tron would be a 3rd. I'm saying they put out 2 movies.
Oh, okay.
They contributed the soundtrack to Tron. But,
that's what I meant. Yeah,
we'll go over this
sure.
Because we're gonna have a whole corrective on this. Daft Punk to me is a very special band. I love Daft Punk. They are my favorite band, with only one other band topping them. So they're my second favorite band. My favorite is, of course, Gorillaz. We've gone over this many times.
Oh, it's not Kiss?
Kiss is not a band. They are a show. It's kind of like I say that Tron... The reason why people love Tron is the same people why people love Sonic the Hedgehog. It's about aesthetics.
Yeah.
Sonic the Hedgehog. I just cracked the code on why Sonic fans like Sonic, and it's because of aesthetics. This weekend, I was like, why do Sonic fans like Sonic so much? It's it's not the games, because
yeah, it's not over half of the games. Yeah.
10% are fantastic. Don't get me wrong, but 90% of the games are bad. So, but yeah, and this is coming from a long time Sonic fan. Don't at me with
everybody knows that most Sonic games are bad, including Sonic fans.
Yeah,
and this is coming from someone whose first game they ever owned on a console was Sonic 2, which is arguably the best Sonic game.
I am an OG Sonic fan. I was around when Sonic 1 came out. I had a Genesis. I was a Genesis kid during the heyday of the Super Nintendo and Genesis. So I was a huge Dreamcast era Sonic fan, and I owned almost every single one of the Archie comics, including their spin-offs and specials. So don't come at me and say you're not a true Sonic fan. Because I was for a very long time.
You think you're a true Sonic fan? What issue did they meet Sally in the Archie comics?
That would be...
I don't fucking know.
Sonic issue 0 in the original miniseries.
Ooh. I didn't expect anybody to have an answer for that, to care enough to have an answer for that.
In his first appearance. And you can even say Sonic 1/4 because there was a smaller version of that comic that was given out as a promotional.
Oh, how much smaller?
It was like an ash can sized. It
No,
was
I was making a joke about 1/4
fourth of it.
Yeah,
No, 1/4 the size. I actually had that.
Ash can editions. I forgot those were a thing.
Yeah. But yeah, this is a big deal because like you never expected them to break up. It's just like one of those things. It's like they'll come out when they're ready with whatever.
Yeah.
And when it does, it'll be awesome. Like it always has been. And it's kind of like Gorillas. It's just like, oh, well, Gorillas, like, you expect Damon Albarn to get in a fight with somebody and then eventually make up with them. But, like, with Daft Punk, you never expected them to break up because they're robot people. What do they have to fight about? But that's actually kind of the thing about it is, like, we know absolutely no details of the breakup. And why? I mean, they made a commitment to like their stage persona in that they didn't want their faces ever revealed.
Yeah.
So like they wanted Daft Punk to be what you saw. And none of the behind the scenes stuff is like what they wanted to reveal. They wanted you to get lost in the illusion of it. So. I absolutely love this band. If you have not listened to Discovery, if you're a little on the young side, their second album, it is one of the best electronic albums of all time, if not the best, by some people's standards. So, and I'm not saying that lightly. It is wonderful. So anyway, that was a huge bummer, and the way that they announced it was a huge bummer because all of a sudden you saw them release like a new video, and you're like, oh, sweet, something new from Daft Punk, maybe a new album, and then you watch it and you go, oh, they're dead now. The video literally is a section of their movie, their second movie, Electroma, where one of the members of the band asks the other to help him commit suicide by like self-destruction button on the back of his coat, on the back of his on his back. So
wow, I can't believe Daft Punk ripped off of Ham from Tobal #1.
Really, is there a?
He's got a big red button on his back that if you press it, he just shuts off and you lose the match. It's like a funny, like, kill self move that you could do at any time if you want to throw the fight for some reason.
Yeah, so huge bummer. We should move on because there's lots of things to talk about.
Yeah.
We will talk more about Daft Punk, believe it or not, on Thursday. I have a lot written down here. Also, we saw the death of probably the second largest dedicated electronics retailer in the United States, which is terrible. This is an awful thing. Fry's Electronics. We do not have them on the East Coast, so Lotus and I have never shopped at a Fry's.
Yeah.
However, they did ship all over the country, probably internationally too. So like a lot of times they would have like really good deals that you could get shipping from them. They are second only to Best Buy. So this is a big deal. They had a lot of stores, and they were known for they were known for stores that were unique. Like every store kind of had a look to it, and a different design on the front and things like that. Like they put like a lot of care into that. However, COVID really did them in, and this is a bad thing because we need more retail giants around. We don't need less of them. They employ people. They provide competition to the big online retailers, and we need places to shop at. We need places to be able to buy things when we need them. So. It really stinks. I'm upset about this, even though like I'm not directly affected. Because I mostly get things from Best Buy and GameStop. in this area, but I mean, GameStop's on its way out. We know that. Except its stock went all the way back up again. I don't know if you've been watching that, but there's GameStonk Part 2 is happening, and it's over 100 again.
Yes.
So, yeah. So anyway, that really, really, really stinks. But I don't have much else to comment on because I don't have any memories or anything of them. Moving on from that, this is big good news, thankfully. Nintendo announced that Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl are on the way. So, kind of like what I said with the Nintendo Direct, a lot of the stuff that like Nintendo has coming, they didn't talk about. I know they have other stuff. They just wanted to give us something, at that time, and I know that they're going to have other directs, and they had like a Pokemon Direct. So I think they're going to have a Zelda Direct sometime this year. So, but yeah, this is a big deal. It's a remake of Diamond and Pearl, which are beloved by some people. This was the DS games, I think, right?
I think so.
Diamond and Pearl are Pokemon.
Because I think it was Fire Red and Leaf Green that were like GBA, and then they moved on from there.
Then they had Sapphire after that as the third game,
Ruby
right?
and Sapphire.
Yeah. Pokemon Pearl.
I think it was DS.
Diamond and Pearl are the Nintendo DS installments, yes. And then they had a third game. I forget what the third game was called. Was it Pokemon and Pearl?
Well, there was Black and White, but there's never a third. They come out in sets of 2.
No, there's sometimes a
Yellow,
third.
But
Sapphire was a third.
No, it was like Ruby and Sapphire. Those were 2.
Oh, you know what I'm thinking of? I'm thinking of well, there's Gold and Silver.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yep.
What am I thinking of?
Gold and Silver were. I mean, again, there's Red and Blue, and then Yellow was the secret third. But I think that's the only example I could think of.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Oh yeah, there's Emerald. Emerald was the third one, and Gold, Silver, and Crystal. So Crystal was the third one.
Oh,
There's
really?
always a third one.
Oh.
Almost always a third one.
Huh.
So Red and Blue came with Yellow. That's the third one there.
Yeah.
Gold, Silver, and then Crystal was the third one.
Crystal was in the Gold Silver universe?
Yes.
Huh.
Ruby, Sapphire, and then Emerald, and then Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum. So Platinum's the third.
Oh, jeez, I forgot about all of these.
So yeah, I was right. The Black and White games do not have thirds.
Yeah,
the Sun and Moon, X and Y do not have a third game. Sun and Moon do not have a third game. And Sword and Shield don't have a third game. But all of the early ones have a third game. So, yeah. So this is big news for people who love Pokemon. We both do not care about Pokemon. But...
Yeah, I played the first game to completion, and I was out.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even get that far. But I'm more into RPGs now. I would like it, but it is just too... There's not enough linearity for me. It's too wide open for me for the most part, and it's a lot of it is about grinding, and it's just not for me. Not a big deal, but it is a big deal, so I definitely wanted to mention it. Moving on from that...
Well, actually, real quick, speaking of big deals with Pokemon, there was announced Pokemon Legends Arceus. Arceus is isn't that the god Pokemon? I think it's like a big deal.
Oh, I don't know about this one.
But there's going to be what seems to be an open world game in the Sinnoh region, and people have wanted an open world Pokemon game for like 30 years, so there's hype behind that.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that. I must have missed that news.
Yeah, I don't know much more about it, but like that's a radical.
They probably didn't talk much about it.
Well, yeah. How many details are you going to give for something like this? But like, the people are like big if true. People are flipping out about this.
Sure. In other news, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 is shifting devs. This game has had a lot of troubles. A lot of troubles. I suspect that they're going to start from the ground up on this game, so do not think that you're going to get this game anytime soon. I would expect years. and that's a big shame because like this was supposed to be a comeback of a cult classic. A lot of people really love Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. It was like a Deus Ex era game that was like really good in similar ways to Deus Ex. A lot of like nice, well-written dialogue options,
and you had factions to choose from.
Yeah, the gunplay was like the worst part of it, which is the same as with with Deus Ex. But
Deus Ex's gunplay wasn't bad. It's just that you were never supposed to run a gun. Like, it's not that kind of game.
Sure. Maybe I was just playing it wrong, but
the whole game's basically supposed to be stealth, unless you upgrade to become like a stupid overpowered tank where you just constantly have your regen mod on, so you're getting hit, but as long as you heal more than you take damage, then you can just run right up to a guy's face and shotgun him, as long as you're playing on like not hard difficulty.
Yeah. But this is looking bad. So they've been losing talent like during this entire time. They lost their like creative lead, which is a bad sign. They lost like a lot of people. So this game is very, very troubled. I wouldn't be surprised if it gets canceled at some point because like
you lost your creative
troubled.
lead and you lost your dev. Like their announcement said something about how the new dev, I forgot who it was gonna like pick up with the framework that they had established. But it's like, what does that even mean? Yeah.
I can tell you this, that if you are looking at something that was programmed by somebody else, most programmers have no idea.
You're probably better off just scrapping and starting over. Like, actually, someone in my family used to work in that kind of fields, like not game dev, but like website development. And at one point I had asked her, like, what would you rather do? Like, have to build a new site completely from nothing, or take an existing site and fix it? And she was like, oh, new site, hands down.
Hands down. And I know this from several people, programmers. I also like talked to one of the lead programmers at my job. He's like, if this system I'm the only person that knows how this system works.
Yeah.
Because I programmed it way back when. So like even like the programming team comes to ask him like how it works. It's hilarious. But yeah, it's not like, even though you could decipher code, you don't know how it's all laid out and what all the moving parts are supposed to do.
Yeah.
I don't know how to tell you that like computer programming is more like an art. It's not like it's all scientific, but like it's put together.
Like I've seen enough memes even about computer programmers talking about their own stuff, where it's like, fix a bug, 10 more bugs appear, or like bugs are fixed completely inexplicably. If a gun was held to your head, you couldn't tell them why it's fixed. Whatever, fuck it, ship it, it's fixed.
Exactly. Yeah, so
it's like the Donkey Kong 64. Remember that? The Donkey Kong 64?
Yes, shove more RAM into it and it works.
Yeah, the RAM expansion pack was supposed to be like, I guess it was supposed to be like a paid extra, but like DK64 literally like wouldn't work. It would like crash very quickly without it, and the RAM pack just inexplicably fixed it. And even then, it didn't permanently fix it. Like after like more hours than you would be expected to play in a single session, it'll still have the same problem, but it's like you won't notice it.
Some kind of like memory draining like function in it that just counts infinitely and then like eventually just fills up all the memory.
Yeah, well, it makes me think of like Fallout, what was it, 3 on PS3, where your save files keep compounding until it crashes. Yeah, you have to like quit the game and relaunch it every so often.
Yeah, the infinitely stacking save file.
Yeah.
It's so stupid.
Well done, Bethesda, who's been making video games since the NES.
Yeah, jeez. And in similar news and bad news, I guess, but not unexpected, EA officially cancels the re-envisioning of Anthem.
Yeah, some people actually were bothered by this because they saw potential in the original release.
They told people that they were doing it. So
yeah, but but some people were still like, I liked what I got, and like some people were hoping out for like the No Man's Sky treatment, where like it's finally actually worth playing.
What it's
years
supposed to
later,
be.
But Anthem ain't getting that.
Yeah, no, it's dead now. And they this is like one of the biggest like flubs. I mean, this is in wake of like way before Cyberpunk, we had Anthem, which is probably the worst launch.
And this one wasn't even EA's fault either. This was it BioWare? Just like
I would say it's EA's fault, honestly.
Well, from what I'd heard though, BioWare's devs had just been like stalling, and EA's like, "Where's our fucking game?" So like, dick move on EA's part, but that trailer that was launched for Anthem, the BioWare devs didn't even know what that was. They're like, that's the game we're making, I guess, because like apparently nothing had been happening for years, and EA's like, all right, fuck this.
Yeah, but why release the game in that state though? It's like it had barely any content.
Well, EA's dick move was setting a deadline that nobody saw coming, and BioWare's dick move was like not making the game or not making it. I mean, anywhere nearly to, I don't know, to speed. BioWare
is not what they were.
Well,
let's put it that way. I mean, probably the last good game they put out was Inquisition. Dragon Age Inquisition.
Yeah, and even Andromeda. Some people liked Andromeda, like post patching and stuff like
patches,
that.
But this should tell you that in high-profile games, especially, you cannot release them in an unfinished state. You can't.
Yeah, I don't know why people keep doing that. Because it gets terrible reviews on week 1, which is the most important week.
It ruins the legacy of the game, even if it gets fixed.
Yeah, when people still people. But when I hear about Arkham Knight, my first thought for the PC port is broken, buggy mess, even though that's not true anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, it works fine now. In fact, it might be one of the better versions of it now. So, that's just one of those things. Along with that, a curious revelation about the fourth Dragon Age game that's in the works came out. Apparently, EA found out that single-player games are okay and do well if they're made well.
Yeah.
This is something people have been telling them for a very long time.
What are the odds that the Game of the Year games every year are like single-player titles that have a lot of effort put into them?
Yeah, so apparently, Jedi Fallen Order did very well for them, which is their Souls-like almost.
Yeah, if you don't actively ruin the game with like microtransactions, turns out if you release like a real product that's already finished, people like it.
Fallen Order was a really fun game, and it was a lot more accessible than most Souls-likes. So it is a really good introduction into that type of gaming. And it's set and has a really cool story to tell, and the characters are very charming. I actually really like Fallen Order. I think it's really, really good. But they said after the success of that and the failure of Anthem, which is a big multiplayer game, they said, single player games are okay, so we'll make the Dragon Age game that we had planned on making a multiplayer service. As a service type game into a single player game again.
Yeah, I mean, to EA's credit, single player games are viable, but against EA's credit, no shit. Where have you been for the past 30 years? And taking an established franchise and making it a multiplayer as a service, no one would have liked that, even if it did end up being high quality.
You do that as a side game. You do that as not as the mainline.
And by the way, regarding Anthem, Fallen Order did well, and Anthem didn't. Here's a little hint, EA, even though I like where you're going with this. I don't think Anthem failed because it was a multiplayer game.
Yeah, I was just going to say. I was like, what? It doesn't correlate.
You know what else is multiplayer? FIFA, the most popular franchise ever.
Step 1, make a good game. Step 2, advertise it well.
Yeah, that's another one. Among Us almost died because nobody gave a shit, and then popular Twitch streamers brought people's attention to it, and all of a sudden it did gangbusters.
Third, price it well and update it frequently. 4,
don't squeeze your customers.
Yeah, don't treat your customers well. 5, you have to be lucky too. So let's face it, like not
Well,
all
that
good
is
games do
true.
well.
Like every single game that isn't world record holding, like, oh, I guess that means it's bad. Like, no, shut the fuck
No,
up.
yeah, it's like the Hitman games. Like Square Enix could be making tons of money off those Hitman games because they're doing really well now, but
Yeah.
they decided to let them go because like the guys making it wanted to do what they wanted to do. They didn't want to be like beholden to Square Enix.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, when they get to do what they want to do and have fun with it, and they make like the best games of the series. And kind of in the same breath, we have Stadia's lone exclusive title, Journey to Savage Planet, uh, it is broken, and nobody on staff can fix it because they fired the
Yeah,
dev.
the only people who could have fixed the thing were dropped when Google canceled its games division.
Yep. I don't even know what that game is, but like, jeez. Yeah, apparently, like all sorts of stuff is coming out about like how stupid like Stadia was run. Like, they were picking up like all kinds of deals for ports, and like they were pumping so much money into it, but they didn't think, oh wait, maybe we should get the infrastructure like perfect instead.
Well, not only that, speaking of infrastructure, this isn't even a fault on Stadia, but America doesn't really have the infrastructure to be able to keep up with this stuff. A lot of other
Yeah.
countries do, though.
Canada, yeah, Canada has really nice broadband as well. But I think it's one of those deals where like they could have just had small stuff on there and like arcadey kind of titles, that kind of thing, things like Among Us. Just like start with simpler games and then move your way up. That's how like normal people think of
Yeah,
things.
don't advertise by trying to say that I could play like Cyberpunk on high settings at the same capacity as
Yeah,
someone with a
exactly.
supercomputer.
Moving on from that, this is a big bummer as well. Another big bummer. PlayStation is winding down Sony Japan Studio, which is uh, their central de- first party development studio. So it would be like if Nintendo said, all of our in house development is just gone. Like they have all their second parties and other like first party studios, but this is like their main one, and this is responsible for like a lot of classics that people love, that may not have done gangbusters, but like are really fucking memorable. So this includes all the team eco people, all the people that did like all the team eco games. So you have eco, um, Shadow of the Colossus, and then Last Guardian. You have like what is it? The golf games. What are those called? Top Shots Golf. Top Shots Golf was like a big deal on the PlayStation brand. For they haven't made a new one since the PSP for some stupid reason. They're like really fun games. The Ape Escape games. Um, the let me see, the Gravity Rush games. Those two. Loco Roco. I think the Patapon games as well. Like so, like Knack was is probably like the most recent ones. Um, Knack and Knack 2. And I think Demon Souls and the Astrobot games, which are actually really popular.
Yeah, people really like the one for the PS5 that was a love letter to Sony.
Yeah, and the one that's on the VR on PSVR for PS4 is very well received. It's one of the best games for VR. A lot of people say so. It's really a big shame. They also have like a lot of things that they haven't tried in a while. They have a lot of like titles in the past that they haven't put out in a while. So I feel like they shouldn't be doing that. But of course, they have other opportunities to develop things like that elsewhere. But um, if anything that I've learned from like this pandemic and things like that and other happenings around it is that like a specific institution where things where certain groups of people are together, specific groups of people are very important to keep alive and keep ready, because um, if they've been producing really good content, they will continue to produce really good stuff if managed well. And institutions like restaurants, for instance, can die if you don't keep them up, if you don't manage them properly. And development studios are very much the same thing. You need to have the people there in order to to keep them special and keep them something good. So this is a big bummer. I'm gonna look up Japan Studio, because I want to see some of the hits they made. So they made Jumping Flash, which is like one of my favorites. Arc the Lad, Beyond the Beyond. Do not know. So don't go back to that one. So the reason why that's famous is it was one of the earliest RPGs for the PlayStation 1, but it was also made by Camelot, who famously makes really good stuff, but this is a bad game. Camelot made all the Golden Sun and Shining Force games once upon a time.
The Mario sports titles.
Mario golf and tennis games, yes. Those two sports in particular. Popolo Croy, that's a favorite for some people. Intelligent Cube, that was a good series. Devil Dice, that was a fun game. They even helped out in the development of Legend of Legaia. That's why that never got ported to anything. Look at that. Let's see here. Ape Escape, yeah, those games are good. Blood Last Vampire, really?
There was a game for that? I know there was an anime and a live action movie of it.
I was just gonna say Parappa games, Parappa the Rapper games. The Wild Arms games. I forgot about them. Vib Ribbon, which is a favorite of mine. Genji Dawn of the Samurai, Enemy Crab, Giant Enemy Crab. Rogue Galaxy with level 5. Look at that. Okay, so a lot of these were in conjunction with other developers, as you can tell. Rule of Rose, there you go, along with Punchline, which is one of the offshoots of the live no, it's Love to Lick. I always get it confused. Love to Lick, who made Tulip, and they also made Moon. Remix RPG earlier. Love to Lick had a lot of spin-offs. Now they're Onion games essentially. There's some really good stuff thrown in there. It's just that you might not think about it. Like the Wild Arms games were a lot of fun. I think their last produced game was the Demon Souls remake, along with Blue Point. Patapon Remaster, Patapon 2 Remastered. Before that, Shadow of the Colossus, the PS4 version, Darius, which was with From Software, that's VR game. Project Siren was part of them, who made Siren 2, Siren Blood Course, and the Gravity Rush game. I don't know, I didn't realize that the same people that made Silent Hill made Gravity Rush. Look at that. But it's one of those things. So it's just a bummer. I mean, that doesn't mean you will never see sequels to those things, or you won't see those people making really good stuff in the future. But it's an institution like this is important. So in other news, PlayStation came out and said that they have been working on a brand new VR project, meaning probably an enhanced PlayStation VR headset, something better than the current thing. The current headset does work with PlayStation 5, but I think a lot of people were looking forward to an upgraded, more sleek version going along with the technology, because basically what is it, 4 years old at this point?
Something like that, yeah.
For a similar amount of money, I think they're also working on new controllers and stuff too. Probably for a similar amount of money, a better piece of technology can be made available. So I really love the PlayStation VR. I think it's probably one of the best VR to cost experiences on the market. I think they have a lot of really good games out for it. There are some notable exceptions. There's some like really good stuff that only are on Valve or Oculus. But to be honest, I really really love a lot of things that have been released only on PlayStation VR. So I think it's a really good service, and it's also one of the most cost effective. And you don't have to sign up for Oculus's like stupid services that they want you to do on their cheap end. Yeah. So I think the PlayStation VR is like one of the better ones. You just you need to have a PS4 console at least. But they said that it's not coming until 2022. I mean, that's to be expected. Most I found that most developers have had setbacks due to COVID. It is perfectly reasonable. It just stinks that we have kind of a lost year, and it's not last year because like everything that was coming out last year basically came out. It's this year that's going to suffer, and probably 2022 as well. So it just stinks. It's just reality. Moving on from that, Square Enix had some interesting stuff. They announced that Final Fantasy VII Remake is going to get a free upgrade to PS5, which is pretty awesome, actually. And it will feature a new chapter featuring Yuffie. So that's great. She was not in the game previously.
Yeah,
so,
from what I hear, that chapter is PS5 exclusive.
Correct. It is PS5 exclusive. So people that already have the PS4 version will not be getting that. Keep in mind that this is an unfinished game, and eventually, like, there will be a complete game somewhere.
Yeah,
so,
in 2035. I can't wait.
Yeah, but thankfully, this is free. This is a free upgrade, and I'm sure whenever you get a PS5 and you stick your copy of it in there, you'll get this upgrade and you can play it. So, and this comes along with enhancements for the PS5 version, better graphics, all that kind of stuff. So, they also announced what Final Fantasy Ever Crisis is. So we've been speculating that maybe it might be a remake of Crisis Core, which is the PSP only installment. It's a prequel for Final Fantasy VII, but and it's one of the few good Final Fantasy spin-offs. It is not that, and it's for mobile, so I doubt if you'll care. A lot of us will care, but what it is it's a retelling somehow of the entire Final Fantasy VII story. So it does have Crisis Core's like story beats in it, as well as Church of Cerebus' story beats.
That's the best part.
That mobile-only spin-off game where you play as the Turks, I forget what that's called, and Avid Children is also supposed to be included, but it basically sounds to me like a simpler RPG where you see all of the story beats happen of the Final Fantasy VII compendium, I guess. But I'm not really interested. It's a mobile game, so moving on from that, this was announced way back when the original one was announced, but it's nice to know that they are continuing with it. But Panzer Dragoon 2's Vi is getting its remake. The remake of Panzer Dragoon 1 turned out very well after all of the patches and everything, and it turned out that people actually ended up really liking it. And this is coming after like it not looking that great before it came out. So yeah. It was like one of those like stuck the landing kind of things. And the patches that it got did not take long. It was like a week or two after, and they got like substantial improvements. That game was a lot better than it looked like it was going to be. So be excited, because Zavai is one of the best games of the series. It has kind of like RPG mechanics, which the first one didn't. You have some leveling up and things like that. So it's pretty fun. I have never really played the second one. It's like the one game in the series that I haven't really played. I played a lot of 1. I played a bit of Saga. And I beat the hell out of the 4th game.
Orda?
Orda, yeah. Orda's one of my favorite games of all time. I really love that game. And it'll be great to have the experience to play 2, because a lot of people really love 2. A lot of people say that 2 might be, like, excluding Saga, might be the best in the series, even over Orda, which I find hard to believe, but we'll see. We'll see. Moving on from that, did you see this update of Blasphemous? This looks really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't played the game yet, so I purposefully did not look too much into it, but I got some little details. So
they are Blasphemous is getting a Strife and Ruin free update. This Blasphemous is basically like a Souls-like Metroidvania-esque game.
Yeah, it's a 2D Souls-like platformer.
That is very good.
Yeah, I've heard it was brilliant, and I've seen little screenshots and stuff. The design aesthetic is great. I actually got
the monster design is phenomenal.
Yeah,
it just looks really cool.
I actually got the Limited Run Games like collector's edition of that thing. It is gorgeous.
I want to play it. I haven't gotten a chance to yet, but I really want to play it. But this free update is significant. It has challenge rooms, a boss rush mode, and the biggest deal is that Miriam from Bloodstained is making a crossover appearance. So
yeah, that's pretty amazing, because she's also in a Metroidvania, cool. Not a Souls-like, but I mean, come on, they're close enough.
I mean, if there's any game that you can call a Metroidvania, it's Bloodstained. It is the successor to the throne of the Symphony of the Night. So, Bloodstained was one of my favorite games of that year when that came out. What, 2 years ago at this point?
Something like that.
Yeah, Bloodstained is still being worked on. I think, right? I think it's still it just recently got classic mode, right?
Yeah.
I don't think Zangetsu mode has been added yet, which is like the big thing. I think that's probably going to be the last one. But it is still an active game, and it is a fantastic game. I really loved Bloodstained. It might be one of my favorite Metroidvanias. It's really good. So I'm glad that they're doing crossover with another really good game. Moving on from that, Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection did come out last week. I think I missed that, but this was I ended up downloading it, and it is a lot better than people gave it credit for when it was unveiled. It has a shadow puppet aesthetic. The characters look like shadow puppets, and when things are compressed and you're looking at a small box, like people just thought the art looked crappy, and like it looked like flash animations.
Yeah, the early trailers were like, ooh.
They clearly were going for a shadow puppet aesthetic. It looks pretty fun. I've been playing it, and it is hard as shit, but it is good. It does have some stuff that is unfair. It does have some random elements, but a lot of it. What is good about it is that, unlike the old games, they give you infinite retries.
Didn't all the games give you, like, you could never game over on those, could you?
I mean, there continues. There were a limited amount of continues in Super Ghosts and Goblins. For sure.
Really? Okay, because I've only really put any playtime into Ghouls and Ghosts, and you could play that forever.
Well, the Genesis version was famously balanced to be beaten.
Yeah. And it was still that hard.
Compared to its arcade brethren, which is a little harder. This is a little bit better than the PSP game, which is the game before this. That's Ultimate Ghouls and Ghosts, I think is the name of it. Yeah. So I like this one better. It's fun, but it's hard as shit. I got up to the red armor and then I died.
Yeah, that'll happen.
The thing is, they want you to play through the level perfectly. It's very Dark Souls-ish if you're playing it on, like, the hardest difficulty is the default.
Yeah.
There are 4 difficulty levels, and you can just lower it. Is essentially like if the regular difficulty is too hard, which is legendary, I think is the regular difficulty. You can lower it to make it easier, and it's a lot easier. But yeah, if you need some training wheels, it has them. You can work your way up. You can beat it in any number of ways as well. So a lot of people are really liking it. Some people aren't, but I think it's good. I actually can't wait until Lotus can come over and play it a little bit with me, because you liked doing Ghouls and Ghosts with me once upon a time. So I would like to see you check it out at least.
Yeah, perhaps.
Moving on from that. Oh, this is kind of fun. Was it Super Rare Games?
No, this was, I want to say, I might be wrong about this, but I want to say Strictly Limited.
Strictly Limited Games?
Yeah, I'll check it out.
No, you're right.
It is?
Strictly
Because,
Limited.
I got that email, but there are a lot of limited print companies now.
Yeah, Strictly Limited is probably my number 2 company.
Yeah, Super Rare is exclusively Switch, by the way. I forgot if this was what systems this was for, but that's all I got.
Strictly Limited has been coming out with some really cool stuff. They're actually the ones that are helping put out Undercover Cops, which we talked about last
tying
week.
into limited run games, yeah.
But they put out some other cool stuff as well. But yeah, they are putting out the second Darius collection, which is called Cosmic Revelations, which will have G Darius and the third game. What's the third game called? I keep forgetting.
Oh, I have no idea.
Darius Burst. I forgot.
Okay, yeah, I don't know the Darius games too well.
Yeah, Darius Burst, Another Chronicle EX Plus, which has already been released on the PS4, but G Darius is like the big deal here. They revealed that if you pre-order. Well, all of these are pre-orders because you can't buy them after they release them. But they have revealed that they are putting one more game on here, and this is pretty cool. So I once upon a time complained about the first collection because it came in like a bunch of different flavors. One of them had just the arcade games on it up to Darius Gaiden, and then another version, you could pay more money to get the console Darius games, which were Darius Twin and then Darius Alpha, and then like the 2 other like PlayStation or PC Engine ports. But then if you had only pre-ordered it through Amazon Japan during Prime, you got a final port, which was a port of Darius 2 to the Game Boy, and like you couldn't get it any other way. Even when they released that collection in the United States, it did not have that. And so, like, I mean, it's a small thing, but like to people who are trying to get these collections, like you want all of the games. I mean, that's what you want. I mean, that's what you're fighting for. They have revealed that they secured the ability to put this on the Switch version of the game. That Game Boy port on the Switch version of the second collection. So that's really cool. I pre-ordered it right away. I was thinking about pre-ordering it a while ago, but now it was sold. I will finally have all the games now. They are also putting together the West's version of the Space Invaders Invincible collection, so I'm looking forward to that as well. I will probably more than likely pre-order that one as well. So I'm looking forward to that. I just thought that was pretty funny that they decided to put through everything after all that. Moving on, what was our next thing here? Oh yes, so Analogue also came out with a bunch of updates and like all really good stuff. So first of all, they finally released updates for all three of their major systems: the Mega SG, the Super NT, and the NT Mini Noir. Most of them are graphics issues that people have been reporting on and begging them to fix. I think the last time they made an update was about a year ago to any of them, other than maybe the NT Mini Noir, which only recently got into people's hands. So the big thing was that the Mega SG update fixes the issues with at least the North American version of Paprium, which is a big deal. I can finally play Paprium on my Mega SG.
Yeah, have fun, dude.
I will update that and do that. There are also jailbreak versions of all of these as well that shortly followed. No surprise there. Usually the jailbreak versions do follow shortly after, but this was real quick. It was like a day after. So that was nice. No major jailbreak features were added or anything like that, but it does follow along, to give you all the jailbreak features that you had before, including additional cores and things like that. Analogue also did something very important. Analogue is known for making high quality products, but they are not well known for communicating well. They are pretty terrible at it, but they actually made a commitment to some very good things in kind of a State of the Union post. One of the major things that fans have complained about in recent years with them is that bots and scalpers have cleaned them out in previous releases when they have gotten inventory in, and they only have a limited amount of inventory. Like, not everybody who wants their stuff can buy it. It's very unfortunate. It's just one of those things. But apparently, bots and scalpers have been like running them dry, and they said that they are implementing defenses against that, which is a great commitment. They also clarified on what the statuses mean for each of their products. So they've clarified that when something is labeled sold out, for instance, that means that the product has sold out and will not be produced again. Out of stock means that it will be replenished at some point. They are planning on coming out with replenishments. With them, it was always a question of, hey, are you done with this? Are you just done with this?
Yeah.
Or are you going to produce more? So this clarifies that, which is pretty cool. They also have a notify me when this is in stock button now. They also are clarifying what limited quantities means, what limited editions means, what and not available, and things like that. So that is also very important. So out of stock does not mean sold out, which is very important. They also said that they have fixed some shipping calculator issues which stop people from completing their orders quickly and timely. So, they got beat out because somebody else took it in the meantime. And they also committed to a 24-hour turnaround time for customer support for emails. So that's a big deal.
That's a very big deal.
That's a big deal. That's a huge customer. It's like a bedrock thing. So if that's a really nice turnaround time. One day is very and that's a hard amount of time. They didn't say within 24 to 48 hours. They said we will get back to you within a day. So that's really, really important. That's really nice. So those are all really good things. In fact, they addressed all the major issues, and the updates are very, very good. I can't think of anything that I wanted more than Paprium to work on it, and that happened in a relatively short amount of time. Paprium was only about a month old at this point, right? maybe 2 months.
Yeah, I'd say more than a month,
Depending,
but it's not
depending
old.
on who. I mean, I've only had it for
yeah,
3
you've
weeks,
had it for like
2
5
weeks.
minutes. Yeah, I've had
Yeah,
it for like over a month.
but I just got mine,
Yeah,
so
you are
I'm happy
going
to
to
score
enjoy
with
it.
I'm very happy. Moving on from that, Mister has some exciting stuff coming up for it. This is the FPGA, multi-system project that I really love that I've been talking about. CPS2 beta from Hotego has continued to get updates. I think over half of the CPS2 games are playable in the beta, which is amazing. I think Street Fighter Alpha 1 was included in the most recent update, so there's some big stuff coming. And I cannot wait for this to go public. This is available for his Patreon subscribers, but it's in a near complete status, so that's really awesome. And then somebody revealed that they are working on a Lynx Beta, which is awesome. This is a system that does not have a digital out, a proper way to play it digitally. So an FPGA recreation, it will be the best looking and most accurate way to play Lynx outside of the actual console itself. So,
yeah. Well, I think
cool.
there's also potential with an adapter with the Analogue Pocket, which is not yet out.
Oh, yeah, that's true. But this is open source, so
yeah.
You also have the option that this will be alive for as long as the Mister Project's alive, which is great. People will keep adding updates. So it could potentially be a lot better than whatever Analogue comes out with, even though they will have a nice FPGA solution. Not that I'm knocking them. And the PlayStation core is looking really good. They finally have gameplay on it, which is a huge deal. That means like a lot of the groundwork and hard work behind it is really, really, really solid. They have some games that are playing at 80% capacity, which is
nice,
amazing progress. It's like to get games even running in a playable state is a miracle in like emulation and simulation terms. So, this is a big deal, and so it's been progressing really, really nicely. That means maybe we'll have some other 32-bit cores added. A 32X would be nice. They don't have 32X yet. Saturn is being worked on currently. Maybe even an N64 at some point. Probably N64 is as far as the thing can go. But I don't know if anybody's even talked about N64 with this thing. But getting it to run Saturn is like magical.
Yeah.
So I can't believe it already. And just some entertainment updates. I just thought this was funny. They're making a Twisted Metal TV show with the writers of Deadpool, and it will star Will Arnett.
Yeah, that's curious. Who would he be?
Sweet
Tooth? Yeah.
Yeah, he has to be.
He's kind of the main character, I guess.
He's at least the mascot of the series, right?
Yeah, so, he's the guy. He's just the cover of the PS3 game, right?
Maybe Will Arnett will be Calypso, which I would find that very funny.
Yeah, I forgot if I've mentioned this before, but I think it might have been Twisted Metal Black. Sweet Tooth's ending was freaking great because, he's just a crazy clown guy, but at some point he was cursed by the creepy priest in the game, who was another playable character. I forgot his name. And that's why Sweet Tooth has that fire endlessly burning on his head. He's like, this fire on my head fucking sucks. So his wish to Calypso was going to be to make the fire go away. So Sweet Tooth's ending has him making the wish, and Calypso's like, okay, I have procured this potion that can make the fire go away, but the catch is that you can't kill again, because if you do, then the fire will come back. So then Sweet Tooth just kills Calypso and throws the potion away. It's fucking amazing.
It's always a monkey's paw thing with Calypso. So
I think there's one case I've ever seen where it was not a monkey's paw situation.
Sweet Tooth's original ending from the original.
Or it's just goofy. Well, no. Well, Well, the version I was thinking was, what was the guy's name? Grim, like the undead guy?
Yeah, that's Grim, yeah.
Yeah, what his wish was he wanted to finally die, so Calypso just, like, reads him, like, a bedtime story until he just passes out, and, like, it's just straight up a good ending.
That's what they wanted.
Yeah.
Well, Sweet Tooth was asking for his best friend.
It was, like, some stupid sock puppet or something?
Which was an imaginary friend, like, which was, like, a paper bag with a face on it.
There we go, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
That was when it was the live action, like, goofy era of Twisted Metal.
Well, no, that was
those scenes, weren't they just, like, dudes being filmed?
No, not in the first one.
Huh. I could have sworn the first one was, like, the one that stood out because it wasn't CG.
The first one, I think, was just a text crawl, actually. First game.
Well, maybe I'm thinking the first one that had
right.
video then was, like, not CG. It was bizarre.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on from that, this was actually really cool news. So there are a lot of big fans of Avatar: The Last Airbender out there, and Legend of Korra along with it. Apparently the creators of Avatar had recently left the live action project because it wasn't going the way that they wanted. The second live action project.
Yeah, I was going to say, remember what happened the
Netflix?
First time somebody tried making a live action Avatar?
Yeah, M. Night Shyamalan made it, and the twist was that it was terrible.
Like every aspect of the movie.
What's kind of funny is that was made in my neck of the woods. It was made in the Philadelphia area, so I actually knew somebody who was in that as an extra.
Nice.
But yeah, they have the original creators of Avatar have created Avatar Studios, and will have promised that new adventures are coming along to Nickelodeon and Paramount Plus. So that means that sounds like a commitment to maybe even more than one thing, which might be a movie or another show. And I'm sure Paramount Plus is hurting for content, so they probably really want that. Do you know what Paramount Plus is?
Well, yeah, it's a new streaming service.
Well, do you know what it used to be?
No.
Okay, so it is the successor to CBS All Access.
That's right. I did know that. Yeah, the streaming service that exists exclusively for Star Trek, and nobody knows what else is on it. Yeah.
Well, there is one other significant thing on it. There is the Jordan Peele.
The Twilight Zone. Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, Star Trek Picard and Star Trek Discovery season 1 through 3. Is basically all it has right now, and a bunch of movies. But they're starting to get other stuff on there. They have like a lot of really cool offbeat MTV stuff from the 90s that you rarely see collected anywhere. Like they put The State on there, which is like a cult sketch comedy show where all of the people from Reno 911 and Stella came from. So that's actually really neat. That really rarely ever gets re-put together for some reason. There's some Beavis and Butthead stuff on there, but there's also like some of their edgy stuff from the 90s, like Aeon Flux is on there.
Sure.
So that's pretty cool. They even put Silent Library on there, which is a lot of fun. Which is a Japanese style game show where you have to be quiet and they make you do embarrassing things.
Oh, I've seen like one clip of that where they're like in a library.
Yes.
They're like popping balloons right by their heads. Like, don't scream. Yeah, it's brutal.
It's really funny. I could watch hours of that show. The Japanese version's even funnier. But they make you do.
Yeah, I saw a clip of the Japanese version. Yeah,
really embarrassing things that like are very difficult to do without laughing. The best one I ever saw was they made one person go at the end of this like this track. It looked like a track that they could put like an RC car on.
Okay.
And it had like hills on it, and then it ended with their face essentially, and their friends had to drive the truck into their face.
That's pretty good.
And it just the way that it hits them and their reaction to it was one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. Certain physical comedy things just get me, and that'll get me every time. That and losing a sock, that's really funny to me for some reason, losing a shoe.
Huh.
Like getting hit and then a shoe pops off. That's
Oh,
really funny to me.
okay, yeah. It's
Kind of like
very
the brick joke.
cartoony.
It's like the brick joke, like you throw something up and then it hits you like later on in the episode.
Yeah, no, I'm
Yeah,
just thinking like old Looney Tunes where like somebody gets hit with a cannonball and then just like their shoes with smoke coming out of them is all that's
yeah,
left.
I love that. It's just it makes me laugh every time. But yeah, losing a shoe is hilarious. I don't know why. But yeah, Paramount Plus is getting a lot more content. They have like a third SpongeBob movie coming out soon, and SpongeBob's movies are always good. A lot of people liked the last one. I didn't get a chance to see it, but I liked the first one. The first one's hilarious. I don't know if you ever got a chance to see the first SpongeBob movie.
I've never seen a
It's
single
really
episode of SpongeBob.
I recommend certain ones. It's not a a bad little kid show.
Yeah, I heard it's good. Just never touched it.
Okay, it's worth it. Especially the Glove World episode. I have to show you that. It's like it's on par with. You remember that episode of Droopy Dog that Luminaire
Nope.
showed us?
But that
What's
Luminaire, that Luminaire showed us.
Yeah, we showed us this Tex Avery directed episode of Droopy Dog where they're like he has to be quiet. Or like
Yeah. This
Yeah.
is the one where like
There's
yeah,
like a
there was some
sleeping baby
criminal
or
trying to
something.
rob a bank, and Droopy Dog is the deputy. So like, he like smacks the criminal's foot with a hammer, and the guy's like trying not to scream. So he like, what did he do? He like took his lips off of his face and like
And
ran out
yelled
of the
outside
building,
by,
and then the
like,
lips were like
holding his
ah. And then he
lips
goes back in,
outside.
puts his lips back on.
It's like on par with how like frustrating you feel for the character in that episode.
Yeah.
Like the Glove World episode is like wow, it's like the most frustrating thing you've ever seen in your life, and it's really funny because of it. So I need to show you that one time. But I'm excited for the future of Paramount Plus. I watched Star Trek Picard on it on All Access recently because I accidentally signed up for a month of it. So I was like, I might as well. Watch whatever I can on it now. And I was disappointed with Picard, but there's some other good stuff on there. I like the old MTV stuff, so I was excited for that. And moving on, just finally, the remainder of the Alien core franchise, that would be Aliens, Alien 3, and Alien Resurrection, basically everything before Prometheus, is being remastered for 4K Blu-ray. I imagine the first one already has a 4K Blu-ray, because why wouldn't it? And it's also coming to Disney Plus, the 4K restoration. So I am super excited about that because Aliens is one of my favorite movies of all time. I think the first movie edges it out for me, but I still really love the second one. 3 is... And then 4 has some interesting ideas, but
Yeah, 4
executed
has its
poorly.
moments.
Yeah, 4 has good ideas. There's some stuff in there that is interesting. At the very least, it's more interesting than the stuff they did in the third. But the third only really exists to kill off the main character. I mean, there's nothing new happening in that movie, really, that adds a lot to it. And it's a shame because you know who directed that?
Nope.
David Fincher.
Oh, bizarre. Because like, yeah, Alien 3 is the only one of the core 4 that I've never seen.
Alien 3 was directed by David Fincher, who is a famously awesome director.
Yeah.
He's made tons of really good, mostly murder mystery movies that have been fantastic. Like he did Gone Girl, 7. What's another one? The girl with the dragon tattoo.
The remake of Girl with the Dragon Tattoo that came out
Yes.
5 minutes after the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo came out.
Both versions are good though.
Yeah, I do hear
too.
both versions are good. Yeah.
Yeah.
His was the Daniel Craig one.
Yeah, his was the Daniel Craig one. Not the Swedish one has. I think they made a trilogy of that, and unfortunately,
Yeah, it was 3 books.
The David Fincher one did not get any sequels. So
Yeah, it was the
shame.
girl who played with fire and the girl who kicked the hornet's nest.
Correct, and apparently all 3 of those Swedish adaptations are good. So
Yeah, the books I felt were like the best one was the first one, the second best one was the second one. Like, they never got bad, but like, okay, I prefer the first one.
I think he also like didn't get a chance to like polish the later ones, right?
Well, the third one feels like they tried to hastily wrap up like all loose ends like at once, where it's like, and also this gets closed up, and like, I mean, like, I like that happens, but okay.
Well, he passed away, I think.
Well, yeah, I think he died before the books ever got published.
Yeah, exactly. So he didn't get a chance to polish the final two, if you ask me. And he had like notes for other books in which they released as well, I think.
That I don't even know about.
Yeah, but yeah, of course they're not nearly as good because they're basically written by somebody else based on his ideas. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about that because Aliens is a fantastic movie. I actually really do like Prometheus. That movie got some crap from some people, but I think it's worth watching. Did you ever get a chance to watch Prometheus?
No, I've only seen Alien, Aliens, and Resurrection.
Okay.
And Alien vs. Predator, if you want to count those. But...
Okay, I recommend watching Prometheus. I haven't seen Alien, the one right after Prometheus. I forget what that one's called. The most
Covenant?
Yeah, that's it. I haven't gotten a chance to see that one yet, but I did like Prometheus quite a bit. Some people complained about it, and I was like, no, I'm persevering. I think this is going to be viewed as good as time goes on, and it has. It actually is now looked at more favorably than when it came out. So I'm glad for it. There's a really gut-wrenching scene in it that like I'm glad that I watched it because it's just like, ooh, like there aren't too many things in a movie that get me nowadays because like I've seen everything, right?
Well, I think I know what you're talking about because you told me like when the movie came out when you saw it. I don't want to see that.
It was like ooh like
yeah,
one of those
that's a pass for me.
Yeah, but I liked it. But anyway, I think unless you have anything else to add, that'll be the show for this week.
Yeah, I mean, just other than what I've been playing, like now that I've actually beaten The Last of Us 2, I just want to say it kicks ass up and down. That's pretty much the long and short of it. It's like the message makes sense, and what happens to and with the characters I feel is thematically appropriate.
You know, that's refreshing to hear from you, considering the amount of vitriol surrounding that game.
Well, the amount of vitriol... I don't know if you saw my Twitter post about it, but, like, the people who are giving it 1s out of 10, like, I promise you, they were responding to headlines. Yeah, it's the first game in terms of aesthetic and gameplay mechanics. Like, again, it's the same game that everybody gave 10 out of 10s to, except there's more of it. If you don't like the way the story beats go on, I guess you could complain about the writing, but that's not 90% of, like, the game.
The story is what you're playing it for, right?
That I mean, admittedly, that is true, and the story is fucking great in my opinion.
It's kind of like Naughty Dog's previous games. I mean, like Uncharted 4, you're basically playing a movie.
When
you're playing Uncharted 4, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, Uncharted 4 is one of my favorite games ever. I love that game. I love Uncharted 2.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's between 2 and 4 for me, and like 4 is
really
more,
good on its own.
Yeah, like 2 is a PS3 game, so like we've evolved in terms of like gameplay and presentation, but 2 is very good, and 4 did great stuff with the story as well. But The Last of Us 2,
I love the way the characters interacted. The characters interacted in almost.
It felt real. We talked about this years ago on the podcast. Like they didn't feel like video game characters, you know?
No, not at all. Yeah.
And with The Last of Us 2, like a lot of people's complaints are in like something that happens early-ish in the game, but all I'll say is that it did not come out of nowhere.
Gotcha. Well, I'm excited to play those games eventually. I do want to play the first game and then play the second one if you're recommending it, because I take that as a huge.
Well, even people who weren't a fan of the second game like love the first game to death. Like you will like the first game. Second game you'll probably like, but you will absolutely like the first game.
I'm sure if you like the second one, then I will.
Yeah, and you should give the DLC for the first game a shot too. It's just like it's the play as Ellie in the past DLC, so you get like a sense of her character.
Well, I have the PS4 version, and that has that.
Yeah, so it just has it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll go back and play that. Okay. Well, thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah,
Anything else you wanted to add?
Well, briefly, when we were talking about Blasphemous and stuff like that, like, oh, it's a really good Souls-like. I'm in the middle of playing a Souls-like myself right now, Mortal Shell, which came out in the end of 2020.
How you liking that?
I like it. It's like, if you just want to make it to the end credits, it's a very short game. Like, I saw a Games Done Quick run where it was done in under 40 minutes, and apparently it's possible to do it in under 30 minutes. But I mean, if you're just playing the game for the first time, that is absolutely not happening. But I beat it. I liked it. What I find clever about it is that there are 3 dungeons. Tackle them in any order. There's an order you should do them in, but you could tackle them in any order. You do not level up your character. You can level up your weapons, and like, depending which shell you choose, that'll affect the amount of health and stamina you have. But your fighting style is identical as far as the animations when you swing your sword or whatever weapon you have. So I find that to be refreshing. It's not like, oh, I have to grind to be able to beat these enemies. Like, that's never a problem.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to want to power up your weapons to beat bosses more easily, but the game is designed to be doable. There is a trophy where you beat the game without ever putting on a shell, which means your stamina bar is stupidly large. Like, it is
large.
Stupidly large, but you literally cannot take a hit of any kind.
Wow.
So I've beaten 2 of the 3 dungeons. I'm moving, but the 3rd dungeon is going to be a real bitch.
Wow.
I was using the speedrunner strategy, and I'm like, oh, you could just go to the end of the dungeon.
Yeah, I might look into this game, once you're said and done with it, because
I've beaten it. Like, I'm not done playing it, but I mean, I beat it.
Sure. Well, I'm certainly interested. What did I play this weekend? I played
More Like a Dragon.
What's that?
Like a Dragon.
I actually didn't go back to it. I was playing something that I downloaded. Oh yeah, Ghouls and Ghosts. So.
Oh yeah, you mentioned that. Yeah.
I did mention that. Yeah. All right. Well, any other last minute items?
No, I think that's it.
Well, that's the show for this week. Please remember to subscribe to the Corrective Consciousness YouTube and SoundCloud pages. Ring that bell. While there, please give us thumbs ups, likes, and 5-star ratings on iTunes. It helps promote and spread awareness of the show, and any bit of encouragement helps keep the show going. You can also catch us on Thursday for our sister podcast, Corrective Consciousness, where we will be talking about the life and times of Daft Punk. Finally, you can friend me as vysethebold on pretty much anything.
And you can follow me on my YouTube channel, Lotus Prince. You can hit me up on Twitter at Lotus Prince. And finally, if you are interested in seeing my videos early, getting in on exclusive live streams, selecting upcoming games for me to Let's Play, or participating in conversations with me and other patrons on Discord, then perhaps consider swinging by my Patreon account, which can be found at patreon.com/LotusPrince.
All right, everybody. We'll catch you on Thursday then.
Until next time, everyone.
Bye-bye.